Hello everyone. I hope you are doing good. So this is Moz Ahmad, your physics teacher, and in this video we will talk about how to add two vectors using parallelogram. In the previous video we talked about how to add two vectors using tip to tail rule. So we will follow the same process to understand addition of vector using parallelogram by breaking the whole concept into 7 different steps. So let's have the steps in mind and then we'll solve the past paper according to the parallelogram. So if you talk about addition of vector using parallelogram method, first of all, we need to understand what parallelogram is, because most of the time students have a confusion that parallelogram is only a slanted rectangle like the shape given in this type. But if we understand clearly what parallelogram is, it is basically hidden under its own name, like parallelogram means a shape whose opposite sides are parallel with each other. In this way, square can be considered as a parallelogram, rectangle can be considered as a parallelogram, or slanted rectangle can also be considered as a parallelogram. But a triangle cannot be considered as parallelogram because the opposite sides are not parallel with each other. So if you solve or if you add two vectors using parallelogram, you will end up having vectors of the final image as a square, a rectangle, or a slanted rectangle. Now, first step is to have a sensible scale. I have made a whole dedicated video that about how can you make your own sensible scale, and you should watch this video if you have any misconception about the scaling in your mind. So let's consider if I have a vector of 40 meter per second. So I considered if 1 centimeter equals to 5 meter per second, in that way, x centimeter will represent 40 meter per second. And hence, by cross multiplying, I'll find out that 8 centimeters represent 40 meter per second according to the scale diagram. Step number 2, I need to consider at least two vectors. Now, in this part, you don't have to worry about, because whatever question is being given, examiner will give its own set of values of the vectors. In my case, I just considered two vectors, namely vector A and vector B. Now, join the tail of second vector with the tip of first vector using tip to tail rule. And it should be clear in your mind that whenever you draw a vector, you should draw a vector with proper scale and proper direction. So what do I have to do? I just have to join the tail of vector, second vector, that is vector B, with the tip of first vector like this. Now, the second step, draw a parallel vector of second vector in front of it, keeping the scale and direction in mind, in such a way that the second vector's tail should join the first vector's tail. Like my first vector is A. So I will make a parallel vector of second vector and join this the way that the tail of second vector joins the tail of first vector like this. And finally, what do I have to do? I have to draw a parallel vector of first vector, that is A, in such a way that the parallelogram completes. Now, in the previous video, I told you that whenever you draw the direction, you should draw the direction in the middle of the vector. Why? Because if you see here, the two vectors are superimposing with each other, which may cause a confusion. Now, we have made parallelogram. Now, here comes the part related to the resultant vector. And in parallelogram method, the resultant is basically the diagonal of parallelogram. But wait a minute, parallelogram has two diagonals. So which diagonal can be the resultant vector? The diagonal which starts from both tails and ends at both tips. and you should represent this diagonal by making an arrow in the middle. But wait a minute, why am I showing the diagonal by two different arrows? Because the parallelogram method is nothing but twice of tip to tail rule. Why? Because if you join the tip of vector B with the tail of vector A, resultant will start from B to A, and this is first tip to tail rule. Similarly, if you join the tip of vector A with the tail of vector B, resultant will start from tail of vector A to the tip of vector B. This is second tip to tail rule. So parallelogram method is nothing but twice of tip to tail rule. I hope you have understood. So now what do we have to do? We have to measure the length of the resultant by measuring this resultant using a proper ruler, and we will convert the length of the ruler in terms of whatever the value of vector is given, like according to the scale. And finally, since a vector has a one which has magnitude as well as correct direction, so we need to find out the direction using projector as well. And how can we find out the direction? We will place the projector like this, and we will measure this direction. Okay. So these were the 7 steps through which you can find out the resultant using parallelogram method. Now let's jump toward a past paper through which we can make this concept more concrete. So I have planned a past paper that is May-June 2010, paper 2-2, question number 1. And in this question, what we are having a journey consists of 2 displacements. First is 500 meters in northerly direction. Draw the dummy. As I told you in the previous video, dummy is very helpful in northerly direction. North is upwards. And the second part is saying, and the second vector is 200 meters in easterly direction. That means I'll draw a vector of 200 meters in east, like this. In the space below, draw to scale a vector diagram of these displacements. State the value of your scale. That means we have to draw our own scale. Now we have a set of value that is 500 meters in east and 200 meters in 500 meters in north and 200 meters in east. So we need to determine this magnitude as well as the direction of the resultant vector. And this time we will solve this vector through graphical method. How many types of graphical methods are there in your syllabus? Tip to tail rule, parallelogram method. So we'll solve the whole question using parallelogram. So if you talk about scale, I have choose the sensible scale as 1 centimeter equals to 50 meters. In that way, X will be represented by 500. And you will have your final value as that means 10 centimeters represent 500 meter. Similarly, how many centimeters represent 200 meter? 4 centimeters represent 200 meter. Now, according to the steps we have done earlier, what do we have to do? We have to draw the vector according to the parallelogram. And first of all, what will I do? I will draw a vector of 500 meters towards north. And let me bring a ruler. That is a vector of 500 meters towards north, and this vector must be of 10 centimeters. Okay. And I will draw the arrowhead. I will Label this vector as 500 meters. Now what do I have to do? I have to make another vector, and that is a vector of 200 meters. It's up to you if you draw a vector of 200 meters on the upside or on the downside. So you just have to move this ruler, and let's say I'm making a vector of 200 meters first towards upwards. And this vector should be of 4 centimeters like this. Sorry. And I will draw the arrowhead. I will label the vector as 200 meters. Now, I will draw the parallel vector of 200 meters at the tail of 500 meters. Like this. Again, arrowhead and labeling. Now, finally, what do I have to do? I have to adjust the scale in such a way that again I will draw a vector of 10 meters, 10 centimeters in such a way that the parallelogram completes. Sorry. Labeling. And here we go. Okay. So we have drawn our parallelogram. Now what do we have to do? We have to find out the value of resultant, and resultant starts from the both tails to both tips. So let me adjust this ruler. Oops, sorry. Now you must be thinking, why am I using 10 centimeters ruler? Because you always have to carry at least 30 centimeters ruler to the examination, because sometimes the vector is more than 15 centimeters or 10 centimeters, as in this case. So you have to cascade the ruler, which is, which can cause error. So that is why I'm using purposely a smaller scale, so that you don't have to do the mistake in your examination. Okay. So the whole vector is of, let me draw the vector first. From both tails to both tips. And since it's a parallelogram method, you will represent it by double arrows. So what is basically the length? It's around, what do we say? 10 centimeters and around 11 centimeters. Label this vector as resultant, and it has a value of 11 centimeters. Now you have to convert that 11 centimeters according to your scale in terms of meters. Like 1 centimeter is represented by 50 meters. So 11 centimeters represent X, and you will cross multiply. So the value of your resultant displacement is 550 meters. and the scale we choose, we have to mention it here. Now, here comes the direction part. We will measure the direction using protector. And the direction is mm, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 67. So the direction is 67 degrees with respect to x-axis. So the parallelogram method was in front of you. You have seen that how can you solve the whole graphical method representation using parallelogram. So let's just complete this question. Another journey covers a distance of 700 meters. Describe how is it possible that the journey has no displacement. It can be possible in only one simple scenario, and that is if an object comes back to the same position from where it started. In that way, the displacement will be zero. So what can you say about this part? If a journey starts and ends at the same point. And to make this statement more clear, you can write down closed loop or closed lap. So I hope you have understood the concept clearly. If you have understood the concept clearly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and push the bell icon so that you don't have to miss any future video. May God bless you. Have a good day.